What's going on there, friends? My name is M2DJs, and welcome to my brand new Let's Play of Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards for the Nintendo 64. Yeah, this is, this game is, one of my favorite Kirby games of all time. It is also the only Kirby game that I have ever beaten. I've played a few Kirby games beforehand, but this is the only one that I've actually fully completed when I was a kid. I remember this being this was one of the games. I've said this story before where I've only played where I've only grew up with the N64, and my N64 came with a few games. This was one of the games, and I've always wanted to Let's Play this game for a very long time, and now I finally have the opportunity to do it. So this will be a side project along with the Thousand Year Door. So I'm really excited for this. This is my file right here. I have never actually 100% this game before, but I will try to go for a 100%. Right now on this file I have 72%, but hopefully someday we'll get 100%. Maybe in this Let's Play will be my first time. We'll find out. But from what I've been informed, there's actually a brand new level, like when you beat the game, if you can manage to 100% this game. But I don't know anything about it, so I guess we'll see what happens. Anyway, if you go here to your options real quick, we have your mini games, which I will show as a bonus episode at the end of the Let's Play. And the minigames actually has multiplayer in it, so I'm going to get some co-op partners with me to show off the minigame mode later. We have enemy info, which you can look at all the enemies in the game. The theater, which you can see all the cutscenes in the game. And then if you go here to settings, you can change your sound settings here. And your display settings, there's 5 different ones. I will show off what all of them look like. For this episode, I'm going to show off the default one. So... alright, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and start. Do I know how to use Kirby's copy ability? Yes, I do. So the story of the game, in case you haven't figured it out yet, is there's this fairy known as Ribbon. She comes from this planet known as the Ripple Star, and her planet is being taken over by these dark things, these dark creatures. The queen of the planet asks her to escape, requests her to escape. She escapes, but she couldn't get away from the dark matters on time, and then she lands here in Kirby's main planet, the Pop Star. So now we're starting off on our first world, known as the Pop Star. I will be doing 1 world per episode because this is a very short game, so this Let's Play won't really take long, unfortunately. I hate to say it, because, without further ado, let's go ahead and take on the first level. Okay, so if you haven't played a Kirby game, Kirby is known for sucking enemies, and he can also take their abilities. This enemy, unfortunately, does not have an ability at all. Some enemies have some really cool abilities. There are 8 different combinations. Well, there's 8 different power-ups you can get, and what's cool about this game is you can actually combine different combinations of power-ups so that you can actually get some really cool abilities from using dual type abilities. Like so here's fire. You can actually do a little dash right there, a fireball dash, which is pretty cool. You can also so if we combine fire with fire, let's see what we get. Oh man, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, you can also throw your power-up away if you don't like it. Another way to get to lose your power-up is by simply getting hit. Oh, whoa. It's by getting hit a certain amount of times. So this is Needle, which is a pretty nice power-up to protect yourself. This guy has Cutter. I'll show off more what Cutter is later. So for now, I'm just gonna grab Fire, and I'm going to combine it with this guy. And if you combine Fire and Cutter together, you'll get a nice Fire Sword, which is one of my favorite ones to use because it is a very long range. It has a really huge hitbox, so it makes fighting enemies really overpowered. Especially since you can have your sword do that, and you can also throw your sword as well. So very, very cool. So if you look at the bottom, you have 6 HP to work with. So and most enemies, for the most part, do 6 damage, or do 1 damage. So you can afford to get hit 6 times. So I just got hit right there. That kind of sucks. On the bottom, as you can see down there, is the amount of stars you collected. And once you fill that bar up to full, then you'll get an extra life. So that's really cool. So if you want to get a lot of lives, then collect as many stars as you can. However, 1-ups are generally useless in this game because when you turn off your game and reload again, then your life count resets. So I don't know. I'd say it's not worth farming lives. So that was a mini boss that we just defeated. There's not really a lot of explanation for a lot of the boss fights, because a lot of the boss fights can be taken out. It can be taken out really easily. Yeah. I'm actually going to lose that power up for now because we actually need a certain power up to get our next crystal star. Or Crystal Shard. Yeah, I'm playing with Thousand Door, so there's Crystal Stars in that game. So this is Bomb. You can blow stuff up like this. You simply just throw a bomb. So nice power up. I don't really use it too much. If you combine Bomb with Fire, we get to turn to fireworks. Happy New Year, everybody! And you need any bomb. You need bomb or any bomb combination to get that crystal shard. So in order to 100% this game, you need to get all the crystal shards. Most crystal shards are fairly well hidden. Or well, no. Most crystal shards are not that hard to find, but there are a few that are pretty well hidden. And by that, I mean like some crystal shards are only obtainable with certain power-ups. Like that one, for example. Okay, so it looks like that dark thing has possessed Waddle Dee and turned him into a Waddle Doo. So this is our first actual boss fight here. Waddle Doo. Well, okay. I'll be honest. If you have a power up, then every single boss is easy. Otherwise, without a power up, then you have to wait on a lot of different things. Like, you have to wait for opportunities to actually attack the bosses. So that was pretty easy. I might show how the bosses work without power-ups, just so you guys can see how to fight them. In the case that you don't have a power-up, but I don't know. I'll think about it. But if I have a power-up, then there's no reason for me not to use it to my advantage to fight them. So, I might not show off what all the power-up combinations that Kirby can have. So all you really have to do is just mess around with the game and figure out which power-up combination that works for you, for the most part. Alright, so that's the first level right there. Not a very hard first level. Well, a lot of levels in this game aren't really that hard. So now we're gonna take on the second level now. Alright, so I'm gonna get rid of this now, so I can go ahead and I like to have a new combination of have a new combination of power-ups for every level, just to see what I can get. This level introduces a new power-up that you can use. This is Rock, and you can turn into a Rock Kirby, which I believe is really cool. You can go ahead and basically, how to describe it? Turn into this rock monster-looking thing, and you'll be pretty much undefeated for the most part. Rock and Bomb, you throw as like dynamite. Okay. And the dynamite has a very large explosion. And you can actually get hit by it. So you want to make sure. Is it gonna blow up? Okay. Yeah, you want to make sure you're wearing that helmet, otherwise you are going to get hit. The helmet, for whatever reason, actually protects you from getting hit by the dynamite. So this is electric. If we combine electric with rock, okay, that failed. But basically, if you combine electric with rock, you'll get this rocky-looking kite thing. It looks really cool, and it's pretty fun to mess around with. Needle and electric, you get to turn into a lightning rod, which looks really nice. This is ice, and any ice power up, you can freeze enemies. I won't show it off right here because if we combine ice with that's not okay. If we combine ice with electric, okay, here's another opportunity. We get to turn into a refrigerator, and with the refrigerator, you can pretty much spawn a lot of food, and you know, food's good. And any food power up will heal you up. So, if you're in low HP, then find an enemy that has an ice power, and combine it with an enemy that has electric power, and then you'll have the refrigerator, and it's really good. Anyway, fall down over here. Okay, not only do we have to... Okay, good, we made it. Alright, yeah, not only that crystal shard is one of the hardest ones, like right off the bat, like really early in the game. You have to fall down and then really quickly just get back onto the ride, otherwise you are gonna die. And that kinda sucks. I believe though, when you die, you keep the crystal shard so that you don't have to get it again. So I guess it's not too punishing, but you know. Oh wow, the refrigerator can damage the boss. Yay, I defeated it with food. Oh man. Anyway, some mini bosses drop crystal shards. Not all of them do. but that one was one of the ones. So I believe this is a new character introduced to Kirby 64. This is Adeline or Adeline. I'm not too sure. I believe it can go both ways, but she is an artist. So what she's gonna do here in her possessed form is spawn drawings of enemies, and we have to defeat them. This first phase here isn't really hard. All you have to do is simply defeat all of the enemies that she spawns, like that. That fourth enemy looks funny because it looks like an inappropriate thing. I mean, you can tell it's inappropriate because it's censored, right? It's blurry, so it must be inappropriate. You know, it's like in TV shows where they purposely censor things by making certain parts of TV shows blurry. So then now on this next phase, she's gonna summon mini bosses from previous Kirby games. This one I'm not familiar with what these enemies are from, but now we have the. There we go. Then for the final phase, it's easy. For Adeline, you take on Adeline herself. She has 1 HP, so any attack will defeat her in 1 hit. If you do not have a power-up, then all you have to do is do this to her, and it will pretty much it'll beat her. So there we go. So at the end of each level, you get this picnic scene, and oh, I didn't get anything. Dang. So you have an opportunity to either get food, a star, or a 1-up. The 1-up is usually the hardest one to get. Well, supposedly it's usually the hardest one to get, but sometimes it's pretty easy. But yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just look for something that you want. And then with the right amount of momentum, you can get that. You can get that thing that you want. All right, next level. Let's do this. Okay, looks like we got a castle. This is gonna look like a hard level. Okay, so that rocket has a bomb, or at least it contains a bomb power-up. Pretty nice. These flying things never contain anything, so don't even bother trying to take whatever ability that they have. If you combine fire with bomb. Oh wait, I already showed that off. Okay. If we combine cutter with fire, let me see if I can make that fire enemy respawn. Okay, that was worth not letting him get in my way. Oh. Okay, so apparently there's power-ups I've already shown off from the last level. So, like I said, there's many different combinations of power-ups that you can mess around with. So, they're definitely worth trying out. Anyway. I'm actually going to combine cutter with cutter because double cutter is actually required to get the next Crystal Shard. So that's what I'm going to be taking advantage of. Okay, so now we're inside this castle. I have no idea who this castle belongs to, but I guess we'll find out soon enough, as soon as we get to the top of it, right? Yeah, this first part right here is an auto-scroller. You can technically skip it if you want, but I'm just gonna ride the whole thing. There are cool sequence breaks you can do in this game, but I'm just gonna take my time throughout this playthrough. Although I am known for showing off these tricks. I do like showing off tricks in my Let's Plays, but I mean, I'll show off a few. But for the most part, I'm gonna be doing everything intentionally. Okay, so now we're on to this second floor of the castle. I believe it's the second floor. If you haven't gotten Double Cutter yet, this part right here is a good opportunity to do so, because you're gonna need it. Okay, if you go over here, you can get a sandwich. Most food, like I said, most food items contain will heal 1 HP, but there's one exception to that. There's a maximum tomato, which heals, which, as the name implies, it heals your HP up to full. So if you're ever in low HP and you find a maximum tomato, good for you. Anyway, so I showed off the Crystal Shard that required the Double Cutter, and that is the reason why you need the Double Cutter. Up there is another Crystal Shard. That one's easy to get, so no problem there. Enemy contains Needle. I believe this enemy also contains Needle. Oh no, it contains Cutter. Makes sense. So with Needle and Cutter, you can turn you have sharp teeth right here. I actually like this one. This one's actually really cool. It actually has some pretty good range as well. A lot of the power-ups when you mix them contain moves that allow you to have really good range to defeat enemies. I'm actually gonna use the fire sword because it'll help. If you climb on these chains for too long, then there will be an electric spark that will electrocute you. So you definitely want to be careful about that. Okay, now, so, as we found out, this is King Dedede's castle. Alright. Oh my god! Whoa, okay. Alright, so that's the first phase done right there. Second phase is gonna be flying, but if you have the fire sword, you can just do this, and there we go. Oh man, I feel really bad just showing you, just not really showing how these boss fights work, but oh man, I just can't help it. I mean, like I said, if you have a power-up coming into a boss fight, then there's no reason not to use the power-ups to your advantage. So there we go. And now we have our full party. So King Dedede is our last team member. So all these party members throughout every level, they're gonna help us throughout other levels later. And actually, you can find these characters in these previous levels as well. Anyway, now we're on the very last level of Popstar, and it looks like it is a boss stage. Well, every last level of the world will be a boss stage. Which means we're only going to be fighting a boss, so let's go ahead and take on the first boss. Okay, so this is Whispy Woods. Whispy Woods is a little bit different if you're used to other Kirby games. The way you fight Whispy Woods this time is he has these tree babies I have no idea what these are called. I don't know what most of these Kirby enemies are called, so I'm just gonna call them what I think they are. So that's the first phase done. You have to defeat all these little baby things. You may notice that Whispy Woods shoots out these apples, and you're supposed to use those apples to defeat those tree things. You're also supposed to use these apples to defeat his second phase, which are these roots. He will try to attack us using these roots here in the second phase. But well, like I said, I have a power-up, so no reason for me to not use it. So there we go. That's it. And we do get a Crystal Shard for defeating these guys. If you're doing a boss stage and you already have if you're redoing a boss stage, then you get something else other than a Crystal Shard. I believe it's either a 1-up or a Maximum Tomato. Give me one of those things, depending on the situation. Alright, so our next world is unlocked with just a rock star. We can explore. We can go through two worlds here. We have a pop star and rock star. I'll give you a quick overview of what rock star looks like. It looks like it is going to be a desert level, it looks like it's going to have a lot of desert levels. So, yeah. So the game the game's difficulty does ramp up here a little bit. So, yeah, that's something to look forward to. So. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Kirby 64, and next time we are going to be taking on the Rockstar. So, see you guys next time. Goodbye!